this offseason. The big rumor going around was that LeBron James may potentially retire this season. Well, we got reports today that says people close to LeBron say that's not going to happen, which to me isn't really a shocker. I didn't really buy the retirement thing. I think, once again, it's just pressure to get the organization to do what he believes they need to do in order to build a championship contender, right? LeBron only has so many years left. He has to go this offseason, very likely get surgery. Is he going to want to, put his body and everything on the line for another year at age 39 in year 21 for a team that can't contend and can't compete? Now, the Lakers were just in the Western Conference Finals, so they are one of the contending teams. And on top of that, they don't really need much, in my opinion. Now, there's lots of talks about the Lakers potentially looking to add a third star. Depending on the star, they could get a third star and still keep most of their depth. But in a situation like Kyrie Irving, it makes things very challenging. A lot of factors and variables would have to go into place. But in reality, I just think that they need a handful of little things, like little tweaks, right? Obviously, you need another center, a veteran-led center, somebody like a Hassan Whiteside or DeMarcus Cousins, for example, somebody that can just come in, give you 10 minutes a game, whatever, play alongside Anthony Davis in spots, stuff like that. Nothing much there. They definitely need some three-point shooting, whether they're turning Malik Beasley into maybe a Buddy Hield, or can they go get like a Seth Curry in free agency? That would be great. And then I think they need like another perimeter defender, even somebody just like a Stanley Johnson or something like that, right? Just somebody that can guard and defend multiple positions, got some good size, and can help with the perimeter defense. The Lakers should be right back to being a solid quality team, but the Lakers may be without LeBron James for the foreseeable future if he decides to go have foot surgery. And it depends on when he has foot surgery, but here's the gist of it. So LeBron James himself said that he's going to get an MRI on it and see how the tendon either healed or not healed and go from there. And LeBron James said he will see what happens. Now, LeBron, based on reports that have came out, he is going to have foot surgery. And if he does have foot surgery, then he will likely miss 2 months at least with the foot surgery, right? Because he has to have that heal. He needs to allow that to go and have successful surgery and then get his foot right, so then he can start ramping up and getting ready for the season. Now, luckily, if he goes and has foot surgery in the next week or two, he should be ready to go by the time the season begins. Maybe he misses preseason or something. I don't think that's a big deal, but he should be ready to go opening night. LeBron James, a couple months ago now, said the same thing. Look, he said, if I go and have foot surgery, you're probably not going to hear about it, and I will be ready to go by the time the season begins. Now, if he waits, right, and he goes through, some treatments and some rehabs and kind of tries to avoid the surgery, and then it ultimately comes down to he has to have the surgery, then we could end up seeing LeBron James out at least the first month or so with that injury, right, because of the surgery. Now, it also could be with setbacks and all kinds of stuff. You got to remember, he's going to be 38, 39 years old. He has a lot of wear and tear on his feet and his ankles and his legs and just his body, period. And so all of these things are going to be major factors going into next season. And the concern is, will this be a consistent thing? Will this be something that is this the beginning of him starting to have those nagging, significant injuries, right? Because this would be the first surgery that LeBron would have, significant surgery, and this is kind of like his first real significant injury. And we've seen a lot of stars, as they get into their later years, start having these huge, impactful injuries that really can affect a player and just his availability on the court. LeBron James, the one thing that he's always had is availability, right? I mean, he's been Mr. Consistent, Mr. Longevity. He's the guy that has defied all the odds and has been able to be on the court. Yeah, he's missed games. Yeah, he hasn't really played full seasons, but a lot of that is just, he's just trying to rest his body through the regular wear and tear, right? Load management, so to speak. It's not because of hugely significant injuries like this. And I mean, his ability to play through that was remarkable. I mean, to go from, hey, I have to have surgery to, I'm going to play and fight through this, or that's a huge leap, right? But also LeBron James is a guy that we know takes immense care of his body. He pumps millions of dollars a year into his body through, workout regimes and medicine and, training staff and all that. So I don't have major concerns about LeBron, but it's definitely something worth kind of monitoring and keeping an eye on as we go forward into next season. How do the Lakers approach it? If he does have surgery, and that is something that he's absolutely going to have to do, which you kind of keep hearing over and over again, are the Lakers going to just kind of have him play, half the season and just get him ready and get him right going into the postseason, which that may be another big significant reason why the Lakers might want a third star, because they might look at it as like LeBron might only be able to play 50 games this year. Is our team good enough to weather the storm? Not just that, but Anthony Davis is probably going to miss, 40 games this year. So is this team currently constructed with, let's say best case scenario, let's say you add, great scenario. Let's say Jakob Poeltl takes like the taxpayer mid-level. I don't think this will happen. I'm just saying, let's say best case scenario. Say Jakob Poeltl takes the taxpayer mid-level and Seth Curry takes a vet minimum deal and you go get like a Stanley Johnson or something like that. You just basically solved all the Lakers' issues on like great quality. Jakob Poeltl would be great at center, right? And then you got Seth Curry, a great elite shooter, all of that. Is that team still good enough to win enough games to get into the playoffs with LeBron James missing half the year and Anthony Davis missing 30 to 40 games? It's a real concern. Now, the Lakers do have the depth. They do have the talent. I do believe that they could win a good majority of their games without LeBron James, without Anthony Davis. But would they be enough to avoid the play-in? Right? Like if you just took this team as is and you told me, hey, LeBron James and Anthony Davis are going to give you like 25 games together with this roster, I'd be like, okay, I think that's enough to get to like the fifth or sixth seed, right? But like what happens if it's more? What happens if it's less? What happens if it's like 10 games? Because, LeBron and AD and their injuries kind of scatter throughout. That's the concern that I have with this Lakers and this current roster. I think this current roster is great, but if LeBron's going to miss, 40 plus games this year, and Anthony Davis is a lock to miss, at least, let's call it best case scenario, 25 games, 25 games, then, now you're talking, you might have no choice but to get a third star, because you're going to need that star to kind of weather the storm when LeBron and AD miss. And at least you have, like, let's say a Kyrie Irving, you have like a Kyrie and LeBron when AD's out, or a Kyrie and AD or when LeBron's out, or, if they're both out, at least you got Kyrie and your kind of core group, which should be enough to win 30 games or whatever, 40 games. And then you just need to win the half of the games that LeBron and AD play, right? Like that's where this dilemma lies, in my opinion, if you're the Lakers, which makes sense why the Lakers are really considering trying to go get that third star. If LeBron has to have surgery, is this the beginning of the end for him as far as like injuries and nagging injuries? Yes, he's shown the ability to play through them, but he himself said it hindered him. He himself said like this injury made things very difficult and challenging, and you saw it translate on the court. And a lot of people try to say, oh, it's father time catching up. I don't think that's what it was, because pre-injury, the guy was still arguably the best player on the planet. The guy was giving you 30 points per game. The guy was an absolute terror on the court still before this foot injury. And so I do believe that he can get back to that with the surgery. I do believe he will get back to that. And you need to be able to put a team good enough around him that can weather when he's gone, because that was a big problem, right? When LeBron didn't play, the Lakers were terrible. When AD didn't play, the Lakers were terrible. Like LeBron had to basically do double the lifting than he had to, because he was trying to keep the Lakers afloat. And it still wasn't enough at times. Now, this roster, I do think it would be enough. And guys are more comfortable. Like Austin Reeves has kind of stepped into his own. You have Rui Hachimura, who he's shown the ability to just deliver for the Lakers. D'Lo was great in the regular season. That's what you're talking about. LeBron missing good chunks of the regular season. So the Lakers may have enough to weather that storm, but the concern is still there. The issues are still there, which is kind of why it's like maybe they should go get another star. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think the Lakers should do? Think yes, go get another star? Do you think no, just add some depth and then weather whatever you have to with LeBron James? Or do you think no, LeBron James will be fine, he'll get a surgery, and then he'll be good to go? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.